So my name's Barb Howard. I'm an executive coach. My background is 25 years working in community development in Western Australia, and I'm expanding my reach to all of Australia to partner with women and men who are up to stuff and wanting to make a major difference. So prior to doing the being profile, I had quite an extensive period of ontological training. So I didn't need to be convinced about the value of ontological coaching. What I really got out of doing the profile is the speed of transformation for people. So often people get quite exhausted trying to make a difference and not really understanding where they're not being effective. And I was one of those people as well. I didn't quite understand what was in the way of my effectiveness, and I got to see that very clearly looking at my being profile and working with a coach, and I knew I could make a difference to people in the same way. So I didn't have any hesitation about doing the training. I embraced the opportunity and I have not been disappointed. The being profile provides such a vital framework to work with as a coaching tool. So the information really helps hone in on areas that are not working much more quickly than you can without a tool like this, because you're often relying on people having an awareness of something that they want to go to work on, and often the thing that they really need to go to work on is something they're completely unaware of. So the velocity that you can work at as a coach to get results with your clients is incredible. It's much quicker and much more fulfilling for me as a coach, and much more fulfilling for the client. So I've been speaking to the director of this company for a number of months, and we were talking about the sector as a whole, as well as her organisation. And when I was introduced to the being profile, it seemed like the perfect tool to introduce to her, to help her really expand the capacity of her leadership, to go from directing a WA-based organisation to taking on a national leadership role. And she was really excited at the opportunity, and she completed the profile. I debriefed her on the profile, and the opportunities just opened up. And now she is working nationally. When I ran the being profile interpretation with her, and she got to see that assertiveness, her health score in relation to assertiveness was lower than she expected, she didn't quite know what to do with that. She didn't know how she could increase her assertiveness. And when we talked about the opportunities for her, she wasn't sure at that point how to go about that. She knew she needed a partner in that conversation and to do that work. So, as often is when you're working with people and they get confronted, there can be, some expression of emotion, and then there can be some relief as well, because there's a way forward. So using the information that she gained from the being profile interpretation and then working with her as her executive coach, she had the confidence to step into a space and lead a national conversation about funding with the federal government. And she has got some great results out of that. So it was the ongoing work with her, working with her as her partner, that has made the difference. One example is a director I'm working with of a major not-for-profit in WA, and she is now leading a conversation with the federal government around funding for the sector across the whole country in the most challenging time the sector's faced in our recent history, when a lot of organisations have had to close down, can't earn money during this period, and she stepped into that space with the support of me coaching her to take that on. And it's not easy because all sectors are looking for support. Another client I'm working with, who is a senior public servant, was able to see from her being profile that confidence and assertiveness were areas to develop for her. She has a lot of things to say and a lot to contribute, and there were things in the way for her that meant that she couldn't say what she wanted to say. And working with me as her executive coach has helped her build the confidence to have the conversations. And it's really helpful for her because I'm not in the organisation. I'm in the trenches with her, but I'm not in the organisation with her. And that means that she is absolutely free to say whatever she needs to say. And we can work through what's going on for her, what's in her way, what she needs to get out of the way. And we can try conversations out so she can build her confidence. Another example is somebody I've worked with at a senior level in the public service, and over a period of several coaching sessions, she was resisting getting some feedback from colleagues and family. And I was able to get her to see that she didn't want to hear what they had to say. So her fear driver was really running the show for her and having her procrastinate and making her feel really uncomfortable. And then when she got to see that, she gave up the resistance and saw the opportunity and going and talking to people and having an interview, an awareness interview with them to find out some things, and that she could bring those revelations that she got to our next coaching session, and that would really make a difference to her. So one of the drivers or moods in the being profile is fear, and we all experience it, and we get to see with our being profile our relationship to fear. So a client I worked with who's a senior public servant has a relationship to fear that has her stopped, and I was able to get her to see that that was what was in the way, and had her procrastinate around doing the awareness interviews where she would get feedback. She resisted for a number of weeks, and in seeing that it was her relationship to fear about hearing from people things that she may not want to hear, that enabled her to get that out of the way and take it on. And she can see elsewhere in her life where fear is the thing that stops her doing what she's committed to doing. I had done a program with her, a 15-month program, and using the being profile, we were able to crack through something that had been in her way in a much shorter time. In fact, it was a few hours, and it's made a massive difference to her performance and her effectiveness in her role. When I talk to potential clients about the being profile, I talk to them about the ways of being essential to success and to leadership, and ways of being are quite distinct from the things that they are doing. So it's how they're showing up in their conversations, and it increases their awareness of how they are being in these conversations. So numerous people that I've been working with are doing an awful lot, and they're exhausted, and they've got no idea that there's a small shift that's required, and they will have freedom, and it's in their ways of being that they can discover that. So as an executive coach, I work quite a lot on my own. So this was an opportunity doing the Thrive coaching program to work with other coaches, get to know other coaches from around the country, and develop a rapport with them through the conversations that we have once a week. So we get together and have an intensive training once a week, and we do a lot of one-on-one work, pair work. So I've got to really learn a lot more about myself as a coach, and also a lot more about how other people work as well. And I feel like now I have a cohort of colleagues, and that was really missing in my practice, of people that I can contact and talk things through with. I can refer business to, they can refer business to me, and we've really got a good coverage right across the country. Means we can also take on much bigger contracts and work much more intensely with organisations. So one organisation I have been working with for a number of years has been the WA Police. And now I have access to a whole team of coaches, so we can all work together. We could work with the police right across the country. So when I started in the Thrive coaching program, I was aware I had a lot of interests in a lot of different areas. What I've been able to do out of my participation is see what really is the biggest passion for me, which is regional Australia, regional New Zealand, where farmers are, where we produce our food, where we can make a real difference to how our country performs. Working with the Ingenesis team and going through the Thrive coaching program, I was able to see that my lack of confidence was getting in my way, and it stopped me from having conversations with people that can really make a difference. And I've been able to confront that. I really took that on and challenged myself, and now I am very confident to contact the leader of an organisation and have a conversation with them about the difference I can make to them. So it was a relatively small financial contribution compared to other training that I've invested in, and I was able to access the training without travelling, which was great because that's always an additional cost for us in Western Australia, and it has expanded our business quite considerably. It's way more than doubled our business. I would say it's probably quadrupled our business, and we haven't completed the training yet, so that's the kind of impact it's made. I encourage everyone who is on a career trajectory to consider coaching as a way to really accelerate what they're out to achieve, what they're committed to transforming in the world. It is an essential component. It is the biggest missing for me in my early 20s. Opportunities I didn't take because I let fear get in the way. Taking on a coach as part of your development is essential. Don't let it stop you. You are worth it. And as a coach, it is a great tool to use, and you can really help your clients achieve success really quickly.